phones. Do I have it here?
We really appreciate you joining us tonight. My name is Alexa. I'm the head of online community here at Housecall Pro. I'm joined by my co-host, Roland, co-founder of Housecall Pro, and Mel, who is our senior vice president of people. You can think of them as your business and HR expert business coaches sounding boards. So each evening at 5 p.m. Monday or Pacific time, Monday through Thursday. So we are not having an evening broadcast tomorrow. We're giving you your Fridays back with your families. We share the state of the world according to the home service space. As you know, a lot of stuff happened over the last 24 hours with SBA loan funding, with the PPP program. So Mel will be going into that shortly. And then we also have the bulk of it with one main topic or guest. And tonight you are so lucky to be here with Nancy Friedman, the telephone doctor. She is amazing. I will introduce her a little bit later because the two of us are actually going to leave the screen for a bit while Mel does your state of the world. But if you're looking for past episodes, make sure you tune into our YouTube channel. So just look up Housecall Pro, and there's a whole coronavirus evening update playlist on there. So go ahead and look there for any past updates. Make sure you're on the Facebook page and then housecallpro.com/coronavirus. There is so many resources on there right now. So Nancy and I will be back in a bit. We're going to pass it over to Mel for the state of the world.
Great. And good evening. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. If it's your first time, welcome. And if you're coming back, thank you for your participation, your questions, your comments, all the chats. It really helps us provide you with the information that's going to be most helpful. I'm Melina Fairley, Senior Vice President at Housecall Pro. Call me Mel. And as Alexa said, we come to you live every day, Monday through Thursday. And we start with just a quick daily recap of what's going on in the news related to coronavirus, and to bring you some information, guests, advice, and a lot of sense of community to help during these unprecedented times. So I am not a reporter or a doctor. I'm a mom of four. My daughter Berlin is at the other end of my dining table right now doing a puzzle. I'm a homeowner. I'm a human resources professional with over 20 years experience. And I spent 15 of those years at the grocery store Trader Joe's, which is world renowned for customer experience. So as the head of recruitment and development there, we hired customer-centric crew members, let them be themselves at work every day, made the workplace fun. And so I know a thing or two about providing an exceptional customer experience. I'm really excited about tonight's topic. So with that said, here is your update for Thursday, April 16th, 2020. The Johns Hopkins dashboard, which we take a look at every night, is now at over 2.1 million global cases and over 140,000 deaths as of just about a half hour ago. Thanks for bringing that up. So you can also see then if you click into the US, we were over 640,000 a little bit ago. Where did we end up now? 667. So sometimes those numbers jump by a good amount in a short period of time. It's just as the reporting comes in, those numbers get updated in chunks. And we're at almost 33,000 deaths, which is really just an alarming number. In total at this point, 20 states have reported more than 5,000 cases, and 4 states reported more than 10,000 cases. So there you can see the distribution. Today, the World Health Organization published an update to their COVID-19 Strategic Preparedness and Response Plan. So we're seeing lots of these plans getting updated with how we can all look at going back to more of normal. So this document emphasizes that countries must eliminate or maintain low levels of community transmission in order to contain the pandemic, and that community transmission continues to necessitate exceptional measures to rapidly suppress it, but they are starting to find ways that we might be able to return to a little bit more sense of normal. In the Midwest, here at home, the governors of Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky announced today that they're going to work in close coordination, just like we saw the governors of 3 Western states and then governors of some Northeastern states. So states are starting to get together to coordinate how they might reopen their regional economies. At the White House, Trump told us that he spoke via teleconference with the governors of all 50 states earlier today to outline his plan for how he imagines they'll proceed with reopening and normalization. So he did say in the White House coronavirus task force briefing that he believes that many states could begin to reopen even before the federal guidelines for social distancing and mitigation expire on May 1st. In some areas, there are still really low numbers of cases or deaths. He also said that he told the governors that they would like to reopen before May 1st or after. That's going to be their, he won't lean on them about what to decide. He stated every state is very different. So that was been some back and forth about whose responsibility it was going to be to make those decisions. So it looks like that is coming back on the state governors. And then the news that I know I woke up to, and I'm sure many of you are watching very, very closely, the SBA loan. So this morning, the $349 billion emergency small business lending program officially tapped out. So the SBA officially ran out of money for the Paycheck Protection Program, according to a message that was posted on the administration's website. So the SBA sent a notice to banks last night, Wednesday night, making clear that funds for the program were on the verge of being exhausted. So this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern, $338 billion in loans had been approved of the $349 billion available per an official at the SBA. And then by 10 a.m. Eastern this morning, the agency posted a message on its website saying, quote, "The SBA is currently unable to accept new applications for the Paycheck Protection Program based on available appropriations funding," which was certainly not the news we wanted to wake up to this morning.
Yeah, obviously, for those of you guys that are watching this, early on weeks ago, we told you guys as soon as this comes out, apply, because there's a limited amount. And based upon the total amount of businesses that are in the United States, obviously it was going to run out. Now, there is some kind of good news. There are some online lenders that are starting to potentially also loan out their own money in similar terms, as well as on the state level. And then obviously the federal government now has the tools in place to start fueling some more cash into the program, but that's not official yet. Obviously now everything's been laid, the pipework, there's applications in there. So if you have not been funded yet, don't worry. Also, not all the funds have been dispersed. So approved versus dispersed are also not the same number. So I've also seen just in this group, just within the last 20 minutes, some emails start to still come through. So just hang tight. Obviously, everything's on a first come, first served basis. So you want to make sure that, when we tell you guys here on the show to go after it, go get it and at least get in line.
Yeah, Congress is expected to provide additional funding. I mean, that's what we keep hearing. It's just more of how and when. So there's some disagreement still as to how they'll move forward, whether or not there'll be funding for hospitals and, others that weren't included in the original bill. So it's uncertain what the compromise will be, but I think all sides are hopeful that they will come to an agreement on more money for these small business loans. But this certainly could slow down the relief that I know many small businesses, many of our viewers here tonight are waiting for. And we'll keep you absolutely posted. So we will post in our Facebook group if we get any news tomorrow. And then certainly we'll be back here on Monday night to go over everything we've learned by then. Alexa?
Yeah, and a couple other things too, real quick. We've seen a lot of pros just recently, like within yesterday and today, have some success with PayPal. So even if you've applied somewhere else, you can also go apply in other places, and whichever one gets funded first is great. So that's still not out of the question. Another thing too, the United States government just gave a grant, an appropriated roughly like $500 million worth of funds to a company called Moderna, which is going to phase 2 trials. And they said they're going to phase 3 trials on a coronavirus vaccine starting early fall, which is way faster than expected. So markets, I was literally watching the stock market after our tradings, it like went straight up. I was like, what's happening? Something happened. So I went to go hunt to see why that happened, and it's because of that. So you'll see Gilead and Moderna go up. Don't go out there and go buy those stocks right now, guys. It's not a stock tip. This is just trying to let you guys know that obviously as these types of things come to fruition, we might be seeing a quicker end to what's going on. But remember, vaccines take a long time to build. So it's just some good news here and kind of a sea of not always the best news. We'll take it.
Well, Well, thank you for the state of the world, Mel. I know that was not news a lot of you wanted to hear this morning. That is definitely the talk of all of our Facebook communities. So if you are still receiving your money, please post that in there so you can give everyone else hope that there still might be some money coming for them too. Remember, everyone is applying through a different bank. You all applied at different times. So the more information you give your community, the better off we're all going to be in understanding if and when you will be receiving that money. So with that being said, I would like to welcome Nancy Friedman.
Okay.
Oh, that's you.
My husband just handed me a drink. It is not all vodka.
Drinking, I was gonna say, what is that, Kool-Aid?
It could be, but I'm not telling you.
Yeah.
It's water, it's water, it's water.
Yeah, it's blue water. That's why it's it's got the color to
The
it.
glass is blue.
There we go.
Go ahead, Alexa, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I was just going to introduce you anyway. You can talk in a sec again. But Nancy, why we asked that first question, Nancy was the keynote speaker and hands down fan favorite at our Lady Pro Mastermind in November back in Dallas. So Nancy is known as a telephone doctor. That's her business. Like I said, she's a well-known keynote speaker, customer satisfaction and sales training expert who with her team has helped over 30,000 organizations over the years. So today we are going to be talking all about sales, selling the correct way with compassion, not coming off like a jerk, and just providing the absolute top-notch customer service. You have an expert here today. So Nancy, if you can give us a little bit more about your background, that would be awesome. And we can get into the questions that so many of you sent into us. So thank you.
Well, and I appreciate that. First, I need to talk to Mel just for a moment. Huge Trader Joe. I was very interested to hear that you were with them. A huge Trader Joe fan. There, I'm an addict of a good kind of chocolate mint ice cream. Hands down, Trader Joe chocolate mint.
All the good stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I just had to say that because I can't get out to get any more. So I'm sending like contraband people out, go out and get me some. Anyway. So we were going to do a poll on how many were at the November conference, but it doesn't matter if 3 of you were or 300 of you were. You were probably one of the best audiences ever, engaging and fun, and you laughed at all the right spots. I loved it. We just loved it, Dick and I both. By the way, Dick just got done with his rotator cuff surgery. Otherwise, I'd put him on the show with me. But he's been doing his exercises. So I'm not going to give you a lot of my background because I want to give you as much information as I can. I am extremely impressed. I asked Alexa and some of the people at Housecall Pro to send me some questions. Have the people send me some questions. I mean, I got 40 hours of information. I could be here for 3 days if you wanted, nonstop. But they sent me some of the most interesting questions that will help everybody. So I made the notes, and I want to start out with what I think is probably the most important one, and I'm not sure who sent it. So I was going to say, find out, Alexa, are you able to find out who sent what?
Yes, I can. Well, depending on the question, I think I can, because what I did a post on Facebook, but I think everyone was kind of intimidated to post their question on there because it's you. So I just went out and messaged some of my people, and I'm like, hey, do you have any questions for Nancy? And they responded back with so many. So Atma, like there's a lot of Angie who's here, right? I think she might be in the Lady Pro meetup. But
they were just fabulous questions, not easy to answer, which is challenging for me, and I love that. But they're going to help everybody. So you sent them so beautifully. I'm going to take them one by one in the order that I want to take them. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're out there, I am ADD. So if you have a thought, idea, tip, skill, or technique that you want to raise your hand, enter chat, ask Alexa a question, say, ask Nancy. You're not an interruption. You're the very reason I am there. So don't hesitate. Say, hey, Nancy, wait a minute, what about? That's what this program's for. It's for you. I already know this stuff. So the bottom line is, if you've got a question, if I'm not making myself clear, I don't think I'm going over anybody's heads, but the bottom line is, please interact when and if you feel like it. That's the most important thing.
mm-hmm.
That's perfect.
One question I want to start out with, which is probably the most important, and that is, number one, what is the proper telephone etiquette when first answering a business call from an incoming unknown client? What should I be saying? Now, unknown is your key word there, because I want to stress, how many of you have caller ID? Well, I can't see, it doesn't matter. Oh, stop. I'm not asking you. But the bottom line is, if you have caller ID, pretend you don't. Pretend you don't. It is not effective to pick up the phone with, well, hi, Roland, because Roland wanted to be a surprise. You're taking all the air out of Roland. You're taking all the air out of the person when you pick up with their name. I did it once and I was sorry. And I'll give you a short story on my secretary, who we used to have caller ID. And she came into my office one day crying hysterically. I thought somebody passed away. I said, what happened? Finally, I said, stop crying. Tell me what happened. Well, we had caller ID and the number on the screen was her fiance's. So she picked up the phone and said something very personal, very inappropriate. Do I need to tell you that the voice said, this isn't Joe, it's Joe's boss. So, yeah, it wasn't ooh, but it was a great lesson. Let me tell you, it was a great lesson that you answer the phone the same way. So if you have caller ID and it says Roland's calling, you don't know that it's Roland. Roland might have told Alexa, hey, give Susie a call for me, will you? And uses Roland's phone. You don't want to bet your next paycheck on who's on that phone, okay? It's like going to Vegas. You can win, you can lose. It's just not worth it. So stay professional all the time. So how are we answering a phone? Very simple. Telephone doctors, three-part greeting. Number one is obviously a greeting, a welcome. We call it a buffer, and a buffer could be good morning, thanks for calling, happy Tuesday, Merry Christmas, whatever, but it warms the call. Well, I can't say handshake anymore. It was like the handshake. It was like saying, hey, I'm glad to meet you. I'm glad you're here. Elbow. So, elbow now, yeah, or nose, or they can even do nose. Somebody did the foot thing with me. But the bottom line is you need a buffer. Acme Electric is not going to be fun. It's not going to be warm. It's not going to be good. So people say, what do you use at Telephone Doc? We use thanks for calling. Well, why do you use thanks for calling? I use thanks for calling because I was tired of hearing my ladies in the office, and I'm a small business, go into that later. I get tired of my ladies saying at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, good morning. No, it's 4 o'clock, or good evening, and it was 9 a.m. So I said, how would you like to never worry about what time it is? Let's just say thanks for calling. And that's what we do. If you want to use it, go ahead. Thanks for calling. Now you put your company name in. Thanks for calling Telephone Doctor's Office. And now your name. This is Nancy. You, of course, use your own name. You understand that. Don't use mine. So this is Nancy. So it's, hi, thanks for calling Acme Electric. This is Nancy. Stop. Anything after our name erases our name. And the caller needs to know who they're talking with. Plus, it does two very special things. Number one, and this is the most important, 8 out of 10 times, when you stop with your name, hi, thanks for calling Telephone Doctor, this is Nancy, the caller say, oh, hi, Nancy, this is Bob Smith. Now you got a name without asking. It's fabulous. And you must, at that point, write Bob Smith's, Mrs. Smith's name down. At that, just the first name, Bob, Susie, whatever it is. Because once you say, what was your name again? Lost all credibility. Oh my God, it just went out the window. So you're not going to say, what was your name again? Because that just says I wasn't listening, I didn't care, I don't need your business. So the three-part greeting, write the person's, just the first name, because that's how you want to really talk to them anyway. And again, it just speeds rapport building opportunity. So that was the one that I picked out first, was the proper telephone answering when answering a big place. Now, one of the things that I want you to walk away with is, I'm going to assume, because I'm a customer of yours, maybe not yours, but of your industry. And I just had a plumber out here to the house during all this. So I've got some techniques that I liked that they used, and I've got some techniques that I wasn't thrilled with, but didn't make him wrong, and he didn't do anything bad. But normally you get a question, and I don't know what your Roland, you want to hit me with what's a common question? I got a lighting problem, my air conditioning's out, my heater's out.
My toilet's clogged. I put too many non-toilet paper items down there. What do I do?
My toilet's clogged.
There you go.
You want to use that one?
How about,
okay.
I was trying to make it very coronavirusy. You know,
Well, okay.
Our plumbers are getting tons of calls because people are not.
People are running out of toilet paper.
I'm not mentioning COVID-19 during this whole show, okay? This is about customer service, sales, and selling. And I don't want to mention that dirty, I'm calling it a dirty 4-letter word. I just don't want to have any part with it. So our techniques are pre-COVID. It's the last time I'll say it one more time, during COVID, and then after COVID. So we're for all, and that's not a bad on you. It's just, we're going to get out of this. So let's talk like we are, bottom line. So
I like that.
Somebody says, okay, oh, my toilet's all clogged. The first words out of your mouth should be, and this you should write down, where you called the right place.
Mm.
And that's my fave. And I don't give that to everybody, but I cannot tell you what that does to somebody. They don't have to spot check. They don't have to price check. They don't have to go through anything anymore. So that's your first words. I need help. My toilet's clogged. Where you called the right place. The second thing is you must introduce yourself first. My name is Nancy, and I'm speaking with Roland. Well, Roland. Nice to meet you by phone. Okay, tell me what's going on. How many bathrooms do you have? And you go into your needs assessment. But you've got to make them feel like they've made a friend. That first impression, that rapport building all starts with letting them know they've got the right place. So anybody feel uncomfortable, don't like that technique? I can only tell you it's probably we've got 4,000 little techniques. And I thought Dick and I talked, I said, which one should I give them? There's so many. He says, give them your best. They were very good to you. You were so wonderful to us. You're getting some of the best here. So yeah, you called the right place.
I love that.
And then immediately, my name is Nancy, and I'm speaking with Mrs. Jones. Well, hi, Mrs. Jones. Okay, we will get this fixed. Tell me a little more. And then I don't know your qualifying questions. I mean, I can only imagine what they are. The other thing that I want to bring up, Roland, did you have a question? You may talk, sir.
No, I said I like that, and I'm taking notes and then sharing it in chat with everybody here, line for line.
Okay, good. We like that. I don't mean to wish you. Okay, well, now they're all over the place, but I wanted to start with, okay, what are some tips? Oh, wait a minute.
Here, I can read those ones to you.
I've got them in big print. You don't have them in big print for me.
I can tell them to you.
Oh, I got them.
Okay.
All right, throw me a question. That's good. Throw me, we'll team build here. Throw me a question.
Here's Armin. Here's what Armin said. Armin said, I just want to know how much it costs to fix my leak before I give you my info. How do you disarm that? What's the next step if someone says that?
That was one of them on here. Okay. Where you called the right place covers everything. It disarms them easily. Yeah. How much does it charge to cost them? Well, you called the right place. My name is Nancy, and I'm speaking with Bob Smith. They're not expecting that. They're not expecting you to be warm and friendly. They're expecting you to say, well, I need to know more information before I'm going to give you a price. What's the big deal? It costs to fix a toilet. They probably spot checked you online anyway. So they got some idea how. I don't know the big secret about that. I just don't understand it. I'm not in your industry, and I'm not making excuses. You probably could teach me a lot. But I know people, and I know that people don't like to be questioned in order to get a price. That helps.
Good tip.
Okay.
Good tip.
All right. So Alexa, have you got a question you want to read me?
Yes. So, and hopefully they don't go too out of order. If you don't want to answer at that time and you want to wait till later, just go next and I'll next it. So, here's this. What are the 5, and I know you don't want to talk about the C word during this, but what are the 5 things every single person interacting with a prospective client should say or communicate during this time?
That was very good. And I'm changing it just a little bit.
Okay.
Years ago, I learned that giving people 5 things to remember is difficult. Or you can write them down, but they still are too many things. So I changed it to 3, not because I don't want to give you 5, because I got 105, okay? But I want to give you the top 3. And 5 things to say, or 3 things. I said 3 are easy, 3 is a good number. They're not always overwhelming. Here's the things you should say. And the first one I already gave you. You called the right place. Thank you. You called the right place. The other thing is if it's a new client and they say it's Mary Smith, or they, well, so nice to meet you by phone. That's got to be, that's what you do in person. How do you do? Nice to meet you. I'm glad you're here. So I want to say pretend. I don't like that word. Glad you called. Oops, I made a mistake here, but I'll get back to it. let me get the not so, because the not so are a little stronger than and I can go back to that. So what we don't want to say, and I am, for lack of a better word, adamant about this, I call them my dirty words. Don't be asking anybody how they are. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Fine, how are you? What just happened? Nothing. Nothing. Nothing happened. Do you like nothing? I don't like nothing. So, hi, how are you is not necessary at any point in your lives. You can say, I hope you're doing well. You can say other things. But hi, how are you is you pass somebody in the mall and you say, hi, how are you? Fine, how are you? You don't even stop to hear how they are. And then God forbid somebody really wants to tell you, A, do you want to hear it? And B, do you have time? So the thing's not to say is, hi, how are you? Really good point for number 2. Let's say you're lucky enough to be filled up for next week. Nobody wants to hear that. Hey, we're swamped. You know, everybody's toilet's plugged. Everybody's got a leak. We are just swamped. We're so busy. I wish I knew y'all better to say what I really think of that line, but I think you know. Yes. So the bottom line is, don't be saying we're so busy. I mean, you will find time to get somebody there. Worst case scenario, you'll get them somebody else to go for you. If you are blessed with having every hour sold in 5 days or 7 days a week, if you really are sold out, you will find a personal friend, somebody else, a competitor, worst case scenario. Hey, if you need somebody today, let me see if I can move somebody. Otherwise, I do have somebody in mind. You always want to have a plan B if you can in your back pocket. Makes people feel very, very good. They respect you for not just turning them down. Hey, we're swamped. Do you know what we're going through right now? Do they care? They don't care. They got their own problems. So don't be saying we're swamped, we're so busy. And my note here says, no negative talk. Don't be talking about the C word. Hey, you know, this COVID-19 is driving me crazy. It's driving everybody crazy. I don't even watch the TV anymore about it. It's just too much. We know what we're going through. You can watch 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon. No negativity from your mouth. No negativity from my lady pros at all, ever. No complaining or blaming. That's the way we live. And I like to share those with you because I know they're human good techniques. The other things not to say are what we call weak, wimpy words. And
so www, not World Wide Web, but
right?
weak, wimpy words.
Right,
all right.
Right. And you know, if I had I was going to bring my little white flip chart, but then I'd have to be writing backwards and showing it to you. So there's several of them that come to my mind. But if you've got them, let me hear what your weak, wimpy words is. My personal dislike of a weak, wimpy word. What if they bring up this? If they bring up the C word, we'll talk about that in a moment. Alexa, let me answer that in a moment. Yeah. If they bring up COVID-19, just say, it's a shame. It is horrible. Well, we will get through this. We're the United States of America. Now, tell me, you're plumbing? You still got, you know, how many kids do you have in the house? You're using all of, however you want to get it. You're in charge. You're driving the car. You've got the brakes. You've got the motor. You've got everything you need to stay in charge. It just needs to be done with a smile. It needs to be done with a little humor, a little compassion. But you've got to stay in charge. Now,
I feel like you bring up a good point. Oftentimes in conversations, the people that are asking the questions are the ones that are actually in charge and kind of leading the conversation. And I think that when the homeowner is saying, well, when can you be here? How much is it going to be? You know, what do you do? And all these things. Now all of a sudden they're in control. And ultimately they're calling you because they are not in control. I'm not in control of my toilet. I need someone to go take control of it. So you need to assume that role. And what you're saying will naturally lead in that direction. But it's always good to kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Who is the one asking the questions? Because that is truly the one that's in control of the conversation.
And the customer should not be in control. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, the customer,
that's right.
If they're asking too many questions, you are out of control, is what I think Roland is saying. So you don't want to be out of control. And you can say to somebody, if they start going bing, 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 question, great questions. I will answer every one of them. But I have a big one for you now. Because if I'm going to fix this, I need to know yada, yada, yada. So you can stay in control by doing that. And I thank you, Roland. I love your input on that. Terrific. But let's get back to the weak, wimpy words because people use them all the time. Did you ever get a thank you note from somebody? Let's say you send them a $50 gift certificate. Hi, I just want to thank you for the nice gift. What am I, chopped liver? You just want to thank me? Take that word just out of your life. I want to thank you for the lovely gift card. Much stronger, much more well received, much more valuable. Just detracts and makes it weaker. I'm just giving you a call to see if everything was okay. No. Hi, Mrs. Friedman. I want to be sure I was there last Tuesday. Everything working good? Terrific. That's what I wanted to hear. You go have a great day now. You don't have to have lunch with them. You don't have to spend a lot of time. You just need to be good at what you do in a short amount of time. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. We had some good words in here. So Jimmy says, just, maybe, hopefully, I think, nice. Those are all weak, wimpy words.
They are. Anything that, yes, they are. And she just used one, I think is a real negativity. As I say, just is my downfall. When I hear somebody say, I'm just calling to see if you got the information I sent. I mean, then he's got a whole list of things to do, and I just happen to be on one of them. So be careful.
What do you think about the word interesting, Nancy? Is it a thumbs up in your book, or is it a thumbs down? Is it a weak, wimpy word?
Well, now that's interesting. Let me think about that. Interesting alone probably is wimpy, but interesting point, Roland. Very good, interesting point. Making it a sentence strengthens it.
So add context if you use the word interesting.
Yeah, one word answers are thought of as rude and cold from our surveys. I didn't make that up. One word, oh, interesting. Who gives a damn? Big deal. You know, that's what it feels like to the person. Interesting. Okay, so you're done. Now what else? So if you can make it a sentence, that is a very interesting and valuable point, Roland. I will take it under consideration. I will tell a true story. The ladies will appreciate that. We had my daughter and I to go to a pedicure together. And we were talking just sort of about this type of conversation. And she says, my husband always has an idea that I don't like, that I don't want to deal with. And so I just, my go-to statement to my husband when he brings something up and I have no value for it is, I'll take that under consideration. And it satisfies him. So now my daughter and I have this thing when she tells me something that I don't like, I just go, I'll take that into consideration. Thank you. So
not on Roland when he asks me something, I'll take that under consideration, Roland. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. But now he knows you're full of SH. But anyway, so no complaining. All right. Now, when they start asking you questions, those are buying signs. Understand that every question is a buying sign. How much is it going to cost to have a toilet repaired? It's a buying sign. Well, you called the right place. And you've all been to the doctor. And when you go to the doctor, he says, what seems to be wrong? Well, I've had this headache. Well, when did it start? About 2 months ago. And how did you happen to first notice? He's got a litany of questions. He doesn't say, here, take this. You're the doctor for the AV, for the heating and air conditioning and plumbing and electric. You're the doctor. And you got to ask the questions. So as soon as they start asking all the questions, I will answer every one of your questions, Mr. Smith, I promise you. But pretend I'm the doctor for your air conditioner, or pretend I'm the doctor for your plumbing. I need to get a few things out of the way. Now, one of the things that when I called the plumber and I said, I don't know how to describe what's happening in the toilet. I don't know what you call it. And he said, can you take a picture of it? Brilliant. Brilliant. Take a picture of inside my toilet. I didn't know there was an inside of my toilet. But anyway, you take the tank off, put it over here, and you take a picture. And you can then, with Facebook or FaceTiming, which I did with them, I said, this little thing here, this little wheel, piece of cake, that's not a big deal.
There you go, virtual estimate right there.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're not, I can't imagine they're not using it to see what's wrong. And what a comfort to say to somebody, do you have, you have FaceTime? Can you show me what's wrong? Can you show me the toilet? Can you show me, I don't want to see the seat part, but can you see the inside? That'll help me, and it'll help determine the cost, which is really what they want, right?
Right.
So
we have a question. Now that we're on this topic of cost, we actually have a question from Facebook from Jolanta. What do you say if they're just stubborn? I'm going to take out just in her sentence. What do you say if they I'm learning. What do you say if they are stubborn and don't want to provide info? They are price fishing.
well, there's an old saying we developed a long time ago: handle the objection before it happens. Handle the objection before it happens. So if you're not going to know until you say this, Mrs. Jones, some people, don't want to answer all my questions, but in order for me to do the right job for you, I need to ask a few. Do you have just a moment? It'll be 3-4 questions. So you're handling what's going to come up anyway for those some people. Now, I've got a salesperson, I used to have a salesperson who said, oh, some people tell me, and she never was able to tell me how many. Was it one person? Do I care? I mean, or was it 110 people? I mean, she makes a lot of calls. She talks to a lot of people. So if one of your people said, oh, I hear all the time that this happens, give me a number. Do you hear it 3 times in a month? Do you hear it, if you hear it, 17 times in a month, I'll pay attention to you. But, maybe once a month I hear it. Is it that important then? I mean, is it, the common questions, I don't. Mm-hmm. And pricing obviously is one. Now, I wish I could take, well, it doesn't even matter. The one thing, pricing, what happened?
We have a funny comment. Ballpark figure, 90 million, but it could be less.
I've been asking, I didn't hear what he said.
If someone asks you what the price is, just reply with ballpark figure, $90 million, but it could be less.
It could be less. All right, well, there's your sense of humor. There's your sense of humor. So, and I believe in using that, but for you, I've got a deal. So, you called on Tuesday, you're in luck.
You called the right place, Nancy.
Yeah, that even if you say that twice, that's okay, Roland. What this gentleman just did was use his personality. And so many people are afraid to use their personality. Small business people especially, they're so rigid. They put themselves in a box. I mean, you were in high school, you were in college, you had friends, you were probably the life of the party. And now you're in business. You got to bring that Saturday night personality to the office. I don't care whether it's from your kitchen, you're working out of your kitchen, or you got an office. If you're not bringing that personality into the realm of things, you can easily lose business.
I think this is the most important thing coming from a customer service background. So we used to get, people ask all the time, Trader Joe's, how do you hire such great people? And I'd say, well, we just hire people and then we let them be them, because as it turns out, people are pretty great. Yeah. So we just let their personality show. So, and we had all types. And that was one of the most magical things, is that we hired people with personalities, because it turns out we all have one. And then we let you bring your personality to work.
God bless. I mean, there's a reason they're so successful. I mean, you cannot get a bad experience at Trader Joe's. I mean, you just cannot.
In the product, off the hook, great product.
And
great product.
Chick-fil-A, I mean, they get the same mentality.
Yep.
And those are kids.
Yeah, a lot of them.
That's a whole nother story. But the FaceTime really, the FaceTime is, showing the inside of, that really opened my eyes. I never dreamt to do that. And I'm thinking, that could be done anytime. They came prepared for the part. The next time when all this is over and I have a problem, I'm going to say, I want to show you what's happening so you don't have to get here and hear you say, oh, I got to get a part. This time you can bring the part that looks like it's giving you trouble. Brilliant. What a simple little thing.
We have some pros who say they've been doing that since before all of this, but I think
wonderful.
It's one of the positives of a really awful situation, is that people get creative and innovative and find ways to do things that are more efficient and better. And more customer friendly. And I think these are the things that are going to last. You're not going to want to let a plumber back into your house again without him, you know, asking to see a picture of something.
Probably not. And, you know, I've got so much in my head, it goes in and out, but you know, you're bringing up such great ideas and your background is so perfect to be on this panel. Thank you for being here so much. I could probably learn so much from you. The one thing that I would do if I were in your shoes is to assure the caller ahead of time that you have all the COVID, if we want to say COVID-19 guidelines. Tell them we wear protective gloves. We come in with shoes. We go into each house new with that. They don't know. They don't know what you do. They don't understand what you do. So it's got to be a little bit of schooling for each place that you go into. They need to know that you're going to follow the guidelines. You've got everything there. You've got a box of gloves. You change them every time you come in, every time you leave. Nobody gets an old pair of gloves. You throw them away. The shoe stepping thing in that you step into are new. All our materials are cleansed with whatever you cleanse it with. Just assure them. I have one thing. If you're sending out, if I call and I don't know if Cassie's on, I always remember Cassie Pound because I met her and we took pictures. She's on the line. Hi, Cassie.
She's probably watching somewhere on Facebook.
Okay, well, but if I were calling her and she said, okay, we're going to send a guy out, that's not real comforting. We'll send one of our technicians out. Better, but not real comforting. I'm going to send you Bill Miller, M-I-L-L-E-R. He'll have identification with him, and you'll know him and recognize him because he has our logo. So I want you to feel comfortable that when you open the door, you look through the little window, you know his name ahead of time. You feel better, Mrs. Friedman? Yes, thank you very much. Ask for confirmation of things you've said. Mm-hmm. Doing okay, Mrs. Friedman? Anything, quick question you want to ask? Not do you have any questions for me? They're not ready for that yet. They're just not ready. They don't know what to ask. There is a question though, and I wrote it down here and I want to make sure I say it right. I would tell them we got an awful lot of happy clients. We've been in business, I don't care, 4 years, whatever you've been in, longevity speaks volumes. Longevity speaks volumes, and some of us are new. So, well, we've been in business 4 days, so we're pretty good. No, you don't want to say that, but you can say we're pretty new. We've not been in businesses for a long time. However, we are very good at what we do, and we're building our client list. You need to have a little, for lack of a better word, I don't want it to be a script because I want it to come from the heart, not a book on a piece of paper. But you all can do it. You can sit down and lordy, you got time. You can sit down this weekend and just write a line or two. You don't need a thesis. You don't need a sequel to Gone with the Wind. Yeah, we have happy clients, and I want you to be one of them. Now, you can say, think about some questions you want to ask me. You probably want to ask me, do we wear gloves? Yes, we wear gloves. We wear boots. Or shoes, boots, and tell them make a list of the things you do that are good, that they're not going to be afraid of. And you might say, what requirements do you have for our people that are coming into your house? Anything special?
I'm writing that down.
Yeah, good. Because I don't well, they may have their own special things. That they can't smoke or whatever it is, they don't want you to do it. Getting information is critical from who you're talking to. It's how you get the information. It's building that rapport. And I will tell you, and not everybody can do this, so I don't mean that the people that can are special, but it's in their DNA. And that's once you get somebody laughing with you, you're in pretty good stead. You're in pretty good shape because laughter brings trust. And trust is what we all need.
I feel like a golden nugget that you kind of shared, but it wasn't quite as obvious, is setting people's expectations goes both ways. So bringing that up for, hey, here's what to expect from us. Is there anything that I need to expect from you guys? Is there a crazy dog in the house that I shouldn't be letting out? Is there children running amok? You know, is there a special thing in your driveway that you don't want me to drive over? Is it okay if I park in your driveway? You know, some of these kind of expectation settings, it goes both ways. And then reiterating that afterwards is a really good way to affirm that they understand what's going on, that you understand what they want. We see that works great.
Let me ask you a question, Roland. I love that so much. What would you think if you prepare, I don't know if you or I don't know who does this, prepared a checklist for your members, for your people? Because you can write anything you want down now. They're not going to remember it. And then it goes in the bottom right-hand drawer. We all know how that happens.
Yep. Yeah, so oftentimes with our software, you can send like an email or a text before you even come out. And, you know, we've seen our pros use this, for example, when there's a lot of snow out and these are carpet cleaners and you need to get the truck close by. So they say, hey, before we come, can you please make sure you've, you know, moved any furniture you want us to clean underneath, plowed the driveway or at least shoveled the driveway so we can get the truck up close, make sure that your house is set to this temperature because we can't have the lines freeze, we have waters running, you know, and these are things where you're outlining some things that you want the homeowner to do for you when you're going to come out there to provide them with the best service. And you can automate a lot of those things, specifically as it comes to checklist.
I apologize. I'm not as versed as I should be on your app, but if that can be an app that you can send to the customer, wow, that's a real wow for your app. Congratulations. Why is everything, you know, my husband says, Nancy, I'm ADD in case you didn't know, and he says, you've got like 16 screens, movie screens in your head. And some of them, sometimes all 16 are going at once because he can't keep up with what I'm talking about sometimes. He's a good person.
Story of my life too, so don't worry, you're not alone.
Okay, no, I'm not. I just wanted to make sure we got here because we got, okay. Let's talk about buyer's remorse. There's a good question here. How can we ease the fears of customers that are backing out of work or deciding to cancel? Lately, we've noticed a trend of cancellations relating to the customer having estimate approval regret. Buyer's remorse. Again, that's all handling the objection before it happens. Now, there's something else are you all familiar with what we call plan A, plan B? Every business has it. Every business has a plan A, plan B. They may not know it, but when they don't like something, we got to go to plan B. So if the estimate's too high, well, we can make it lower. How do you make it lower? Which of these items are not as critical right now that we can remove and do it another time?
That's a good line. That one especially too, because you're letting them control the price. So if there's a price objection, remove price as an objection. So say, Nancy, what are you looking to do, or what's in your budget? And then, hey, based upon your budget, you just told me we can do all of these 2 things. You know, we can't do all 5 things. If you really want, we can still do the 5, but I recommend at least the 2. And that way, you know, they feel like, oh, okay, well, I can't say no now because they're doing it for the price that I want.
Right, yeah.
And then you're good.
This is all ongoing training and ongoing information. This is a Band-Aid what we're doing now. And that's why I hope at the end we can talk about the service skills, because the ongoing information of anything that comes through this pipeline for you, for whatever topic it is special. I had an electrician come and give me a very high quote. But I was desperate and I didn't understand electricity. So I said, yeah, let's go ahead with it. And a friend of mine was here while he was giving the estimate, and I showed it to him after he left. He said, get a second estimate. This is ridiculous. Really? Yeah. This should be half this price. Really? I don't think people would take advantage of me. I don't know if he did or not. He might have been a gold-plated electrician. I don't know. I trusted him. I liked him. But I got another quote. I mean, it was like this for the same things. So I didn't have buyer's remorse, but I'm wondering to myself, if my friend hadn't been here and heard, or I hadn't shown him the quote, Thankfully, I didn't sign anything.
Mm.
I don't want to get too much into that. There is a good question here. Oh, how do I manage customers that want a cash discount when they're already when we're already fairly priced? Here's another great line. You're going to like this, Roland. When you've given them a great price and you're at a point where if you go any lower, you're going to lose money. It isn't worth it, is it? I mean, we got to make something. That's why we're in business.
Yep.
It's a great line, and it happens in every business. It doesn't matter what you're selling. It happens in our business. We sell online training. So we've come up with an answer that works more times than it doesn't. They want a cash discount or they want a lower price. Mr. Smith, I wish we could. I wish we could. If there were any way I could bring this to a more fair price, you know I would. I've hit rock bottom. I've hit rock bottom, yeah. They ask it because there are weak salespeople in the world that will get down to any price to get the order, and it ruins it for the good guys. It ruins it for the quality. And that's a whole, I don't know that we have time to get into how I want you to stress that, you know, yes, you can probably get it cheaper. Of course you can. I taught the travel industry something that they really loved, because that's an industry that got hit before anything happened. They would come to me and say, Nancy, my client's going on a cruise and he found the same cruise online cheaper. I said, of course they did. Of course they did. That's what they do. They go and they find it cheaper. So I gave them this line and they loved it. They give them a quote and the client says, yeah, but I just found this cruise online for, it was $750 cheaper. That's right. That's right. But you don't get me.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go online and you want to do all the stuff by yourself, maybe that's something you want to do. And when it goes wrong or blows up, I really wish you good luck. I hope you have all the names of the managers of the hotels and the airlines, this and that and that. And I gave them a list of things to say. Man, did they love it. So you need to admit that online is going to, yes, it's going to be cheaper. But they don't get you. They don't get 7 years of quality control. They don't get 7 years of being in business. They don't get 15 employees. They don't get somebody with integrity. They don't, I mean, list your qualities, because they know in truth that they can get anything online cheaper.
Yeah, ultimately too, what you're saying is true. You know, online has made it easier for homeowners to look around and inquire more and get multiple quotes. Ultimately, you have to defend the value and say, look, Nancy, I've given you my best price. Ultimately, you called me and you found me. So there must be something that you think is valuable that I have to offer that the other guy down the street that's looking to do it cheaper doesn't. What is that? And have them say, so have them buy back into the value of why they're talking to you in the first place, because otherwise they wouldn't be. So they might say, oh, Nancy, you had a lot of 5 stars, or looks like you've been in business for a long time, or your business looks professional. And say, look, professional doesn't come cheap, and I've done the best that I could for you. Now, are we coming in the nighttime or the morning, and then do an option close? But have them sell themselves back to your service.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't do that, and I feel like it's a big missed opportunity.
Well, they don't do it because they don't practice it. They accept it. Well, your price is too high. Oh, I'm awfully sorry, you know. And I don't know how many people are out there that have worked at another location for somebody else, or how many people, let me put it the other way, how many people are first timers out there?
I actually have that poll, Nancy. We can do the poll.
Oh, good. Let's do that. Yeah. I'm having so much fun. I forgot about the poll.
We have another one too about working with your spouse, and I know if you want to,
that's fun. Yeah,
you can speak on that too. So,
what are we going to do about the hairdressers? They should have been essential.
I have to send you a funny meme after this. So a poll from Nancy: is this your first job? Meaning, did you work somewhere else, or did you start your business right out of high school, or wherever you came?
Even when you were 25 years old, say, hey, I want to be an electrician, or
yeah.
You know.
So we have 27, 28, it's climbing. This is not my first job. We have 4. This is my first job, meaning your business is your first job. Or maybe you went into a family business, as a lot of us do. Inherit it from your parents, your grandparents. So that's probably
And
why.
that's a good thing to play on. That's a very good thing to play on.
Business. So, and if this is your first job, we want to know who you are. Put that in the chat. Are you in a family business? You just always knew you wanted to be an electrician? And if it's not your first job, put what your first job was in the chat.
All good. All right.
So we'll take a little breather here, wait for you guys to answer. So answer the poll. So we have cutting lawns from Bill Roberts. Dry cleaning from Armin. Auto tech from Ken. I wonder, let's see on Facebook.
I missed the question.
The question is your current business or your current job your first job, or did you have another job before this? Wow, we have dishwasher, surf instructor. My first job was career counselor, unemployment.
Somebody had a good answer to, and I apologize for interrupting, but they said they showed the before and after pictures. And I'm going, was that remodeling, Roland? Would that be remodeling, or would that be?
Yeah, it could be any. It could be carpet cleaning. Could be, you know, you're showing the dirty carpet and the clean carpet. Could be anything. Could be painters. You know, before it's been all you know, sanded down and
Visuals
after
are
the
very
paint's on there.
attractive. Visuals are very attractive, and that was a good point.
Devin Thompson on Facebook. I'm a licensed dental assistant. My husband brought me into the trade. So
wow, that's a switch.
It's a huge switch.
Huge switch. Okay, well that's good.
Tour guide in Costa Rica. That sounds fun. Probably doesn't pay as well as your current business though. Wow, lots of stuff on here.
William had an interesting one.
We can't read William's out loud, so. License that tag. Back to you, Nancy.
Well, only because, and I don't know how much time you have. I got about 5 to 7, 10 minutes. But there's one here that is critically important, and I did want to cover it. Honestly, that's in front of my face. Take that down.
Sorry.
I'm teasing. They can't see me. Maybe that's better.
I just moved mine off to the side, Nancy, so I can see you. It's covering the chat now.
I didn't know I could do that. Oh.
Yeah, I accidentally shared the.
Oh, look at that! I did it too. I just learned how to do that. Okay, thank you. Yeah, what I love this one, and I don't want to not do it. What are some tips for calling customers back to follow up on an estimate? All right. So number one, when you hand them the estimate or when you send them the estimate, you tell them when you're going to call them back. Next week is not a time. I will call you Thursday. Which do you prefer, morning or afternoon, to go over any questions you have? Because they will have questions. Don't say, do you have any questions? They're going to have questions. And if your quote estimate is a confusing one, which I had, my suggestion is, Mrs. Friedman, this is a confusing piece of paper. May I come over, or can we do this on phone, or can we do this on Facebook, or however, and I can explain it to you line item by line item so that we both understand what we're talking about. It was just, anyway, that would help. But how do you call somebody back? You tell them when you're going to call them back. Example, when somebody calls me for a program, and we talk and talk and talk, and the guy says to me, okay, I'll call you back next week. I take that away from them right away. Mr. Jones, you got so much on your plate. You're the customer. It's my job to call you. I'll call you next Wednesday. Is that good for you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wednesday will be good. Morning or afternoon? Morning's good. Okay, so Wednesday, that'll be the 22nd of April, 10 o'clock. Perfect. I'll send you an invite. Now I got from, I'll call you, to, no, I'm setting up the time.
But I tell you, from a homeowner's perspective too, I mean, sometimes we need a deadline to make the decision, you know, it gives us like, hey, if I'm committed to getting another estimate, now I've got a time frame that I've got to do that in. So my husband and I had some work quoted here when we first moved into this property, that we never ended up doing because the follow-up from all 3 bids was so terrible. And we had made the decision. We were just waiting to see who was going to call us back first. And it just wasn't there. Those were different times.
No.
That was the boom. But, you know, if one of them had said like, hey, I'm calling you on, you know, a week from today, that, you know, will that be enough time? Great. Okay. Wednesday morning, night. They would have had the business. Someone would have
I don't understand that one of the biggest complaints I hear from users or clients is, the guy never called me back. Sends me a quote, never calls me back. Does not compute. Whose fault is that? Why are you going out of business? Why is business slow? Because you're not making those calls back. Okay, so how do you make a call back? You tell them when you're going to call. That's number one. You mental make an appointment. And you follow up either with an appointment or email saying, look forward to talking with you Wednesday, April, and never say Wednesday without adding the date, marry them. Wednesday, April 22nd is better than I'll call you on the 22nd, which they don't know what day it is, or I'll call you Wednesday, and they don't know the date.
It's a good tip. I feel like I overlooked that one too. I just send out an invite. Saying the day and the actual time plus the date. Yeah.
And I don't know if they're all on there, but we have a YouTube channel with just 30, 45, 1-minute little tips like that. You got to marry those two things. I think it happened on one of the, not to spoil anything here, on one of the promotions. It says our program tomorrow, meaning this one. And it wasn't tomorrow, it was Thursday.
Tomorrow, Thursday, April 16th. See, I'm learning too.
That's what it should have said, yeah. And somebody changed it after I said, you know, what's tomorrow? What tomorrow? And I don't know if y'all read the thing on what we're going through right now. And so you have whole new weekdays. This day, that day, someday, maybe day.
Today.
Who cares? Who cares? All right. So, but bottom line, I want to get back to where they just have that. Oh, so now I think you dial the number or you punch the phone in and you get the phone. And Roland answers the phone. Roland, hi. Did I catch you at a bad time? This is Nancy Friedman. With Nancy.
No, go ahead, Nancy. What's going on?
Well, you got. Thank you for taking the time to talk. You cannot make a phone call without asking for time to talk. My mother lived with me for 20 years, and when I would call the house and she answered the phone, I said, "Hi, Mom, it's Nancy. Do you have a quick moment?" We are always an interruption when we make a phone call. We're always, nobody's sitting there saying, please God, well, the electrician calling, you know, waiting for the call. So we're always an interruption. So without asking, did I catch you at a bad time? Do you have a moment to talk? Full identification, don't make somebody guess who is this. When you're calling back, be as considerate as you were before, and don't miss your deadlines. If you say, you know, I'm gonna call you Wednesday the 22nd, be there. Be there. Missing deadlines is not keeping your promise. How can they trust you to do the work if you're not going to make a phone call on time?
Yeah, and I would say the other thing that you have to remember to do is if they say no, then say when is a good time and go get the next date and time when it is good for them. So don't just say, okay, I'll call you back later. Right. No, get them to commit on that next one because maybe there is something truly going on. So get that next commitment from them. Don't just let them go.
Well, and the way to get that, we're a good team, Roland, is to say, is Monday or Tuesday better for you? And that's the 20th and 21st. So give them two options right away. Well, neither. I'm very busy or whatever. All right. Then I'd say, you give me 2 days and I'll pick them. But your sense of humor is so critical, not just during these times, it's forever. And if you're getting on the phone without a little smile, do I have it here?
I feel like me, Alexa, and Mel need to get one of those things for each of our mouths and just like hold them up.
My cheeks are always tired at the end of this. We're always, you know.
Well, I'll send the three of you a bunch of these. You can have them around the office. I need to sell them, but I just give them away at my programs. Pardon? Now this is where your eyes have to smile.
Nice.
Because you could be going, bitch. It looks like I'm smiling, isn't it? Okay. What question can I take? My husband's starting to say dinner's ready.
Well, Nancy, before we go on to some questions, we did post the poll about if this is your first job or not. What was the point that you wanted to make on that?
Do I have to have a point? Okay, I'll tell you why it was. I watched the questions on the Lady Pros Facebook, and some of the questions are, in my opinion, first-time owners. I've never been an owner before. I don't know what to do. And I'm thinking, do you not have a lawyer? Do you not have a confidant? I know that's a wonderful place to throw ideas around, but some of the questions are, for lack of a better word, is it private or should be discussed with a partner? Or, and I don't remember which ones. I just was curious as to if you've got 80% of people that say this is the first time I've ever been an electrician and I just went into it, or am I making sense?
Yep. And a lot of the groups too, we have people that might have been actually like a service technician or worked in the trades underneath someone else, and then they said, hey, you know what, I can actually go build a business. Boom. And then they kind of go on from that. And so a lot of the things they're not necessarily even understanding
right.
from how do I build a business, or is this legal, is this not, how do you deal with this, because it's really their first time. And then you have the people that they've been running the business now for quite a while, so it's definitely not the first time for them. So it's interesting to see what that mix is, which makes it a really good question.
Your comments are always great. I mean, the women have too much of the men, but the ladies have just always, they help each other, they're great for each other. But unless you're really skilled or knowledgeable, all you're giving are thoughts and opinions, which, like you said, could be illegal or bad information. So I'm a big, get legal help when it comes to certain things that I've seen on that. And I don't want to pinpoint anybody. I just want to protect and help your members. It's a forum to discuss things, but somebody can say it's 6 a.m. right now with such confidence and be wrong. Do you know those kind of people? That are so sure, and we believe them because they're saying it with confidence, but they're wrong.
I feel like that's Roland.
Yeah, that's me. Usually everything I say is with confidence. Most oftentimes I'm wrong, but people believe me. Alexa, definitely.
Well, one thing that I recommend is reaching out and just asking for help and finding mentors. You'd be so surprised how someone who's ahead of you in life and career is willing to help you out. I get requests through LinkedIn from people starting out in human resources field, and I'm happy to spend a few minutes and to answer questions or to give them reliable resources, because some of these questions, the answers are out there. You just have to know which source is reliable. So not being afraid in the home services profession to reach out to people and businesses that you admire and say, can I buy you a cup of coffee? Or can these days, can we FaceTime? I'll send over some bagels for your team.
I love the word you use, reliable. That's such a critical word. My son-in-law happens to be an attorney, and I'll bring him some information, and he always says, how reliable is it? Not my next door neighbor. I mean,
I like him.
Big
yeah,
deal.
and I do love the online safe spaces where you can bounce things off, you can be opinionated, but then you do need to have your go-to sources of reliable information that you can trust.
I would think so. I was lucky. I don't know if we did the spouse thing yet, but I worked with my husband for 40 some odd years. We started working when we were first married. We didn't know it wouldn't work. I mean, that's what we did. And it's worked with four simple startups. We've had 4 successful startups, all small business, all made money, all made us happy. Kids went to college, we didn't have a lot of furs and diamonds, but everything was, going in the right direction. So blessed we are. And anything I can share to help you, Mel, if I can help, not that I can help you. I'm always amazed at my HR friends, because years ago, I thought HR just put their feet on the desk and hired and fired people. Not so. You do an awful lot of good work.
Very true.
I think that's why all HR departments decided to rebrand themselves. We're the people team at Housecall, or people operations. And yes, there's lots of.
Say your hair is covering your boobs. I can't see what you're.
No, Mel.
Oh,
People team.
oh, do the work. Oh, people team. Good. Yeah, good.
Rebranded.
Well,
Yeah.
you have been very exceptional to let me share and talk, and I'm glad you like the techniques. And I didn't get to see all the comments down there, but people can email me direct, nancy@telephonedoctor.com if they want to. If they want to go through Alexa, I'm fine with that. I am on all social media. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. God, I sound like I know what I'm doing. What's the other one I left off? LinkedIn, Facebook. Yeah.
Snapchat.
Not doing Snapchat.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't supposed to share that.
No, you can. I don't
I'll
think
post
stick out of my
your
head.
YouTube channel here in the chat about
Pardon?
that. So there.
Oh,
Yeah,
I just posted your YouTube channel.
and you'll see Nancy sometimes in our Facebook groups too, commenting on things, being like, "Hey guys," when commenting with the telephone emojis. That's how you know it's her. With the-
Yep.
I do want to share our soft skills U. I should write that out so they can see that. Whoops, I need a pen that works. I could talk dirty. Nothing's working. Oh, here it is. I have it. Okay. SOFT skills. I made a mistake. Okay, so this, is that backwards?
No, that's
Nope.
perfect.
Okay.
It's right ways.
Softskillsu.com.
Softskillsu.com. I took a
Okay.
screenshot of it too.
To the
It's cool.
self-serve online training. The online training that we offer that comes with the bells and the whistles is a yearly investment. Very inexpensive, I might add, but that's serviceskills.com. But for those of you who have 3 to 7 to 10 people, you might want to look at soft skills with an SU.com. You just sign up. I want 4 licenses. You know, they're terribly inexpensive. And you get everything, all 14 series that are on serviceskills.com or whatever.
We wrote it down. You don't need to remember it.
Nancy, it's affordable and valuable. Nothing is inexpensive.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's better. Yeah. I never say
Right.
cheap, but I like affordable and valuable, which it is. They're all, you know, being remote workers, they're all 100% in guidelines with what's going on right now. I'm not giving that word again. And we have 14 series on customer service, management, mentoring, internal, external, team building. I saw some of that stuff in there, and I thought, I can't wait to share that with you. Once they get started, they love it. And it's all done at any time you want. It's your decision, you know, on the Soft Skills U. So anything I can help you with on LinkedIn or whatever, please join me. Roland, Mel, Alexa, you're a great team. And Chad left me hanging dry here, but I'm in good company.
I know. Not your favorite. Let's see. If you have time, Nancy, I know that you have to get going in dinner. How about one question? There's one on here. Dwayne asked it, and I thought it was really good. One question. What would you word what we can expect before we arrive for your pre-arrival, or is there a kinder way to say that? What can we expect before we arrive? Is there a better way to say that?
I'm not quite understanding the question.
I think
Roland's my communicator here.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in this case, this is the technician or the person on the phone is asking the homeowner, how can I say, you know, we expect these things to be done before we show up. So he's saying that kind of comes across as like a little harsh. So how can you soften that up and still add value?
So that we can help you. It's all about them, remember, not what I mean. It's all about them. So that we can help you get a better results. A few things you can help us with.
That's a good one. Yep. Always make it about them. Not about you.
Always. Unless you have a great sense, you can tell your customer, look, this is all about me. All about me. Now, I have a few customers that I can say that to, but they're not many.
And one of the best things to do to get people to like you is actually ask them to do favors for you, rather than you do favors for them. So if you put it in that position too, homeowners are actually gonna like that.
Good. Well, you get a lot of talent between the 3 of you, and I'm just frosting on the cake, trust me. And it's fun.
Frosting on the cake, even with roots, it doesn't matter.
Even with roots? Can you see it? Yeah.
Nancy, you are amazing. We are so lucky that you decided to join us this evening.
I wouldn't have missed it. I wouldn't have missed it.
Oh, we just adore you. And anytime you want to come back on, I know this whole crowd would love to hear all the thoughts going on inside the 12 movie reels in your head. Feel free to share any of them. So
your questions that you chose were spot on and perfect. So if we do it again, thank you, HPC and Nancy. You're welcome, Angela. Good stuff, Nancy.
you're good.
Yeah, don't be
You're good.
Don't be misspelling your, Bill.
Oh.
Sassy.
Call you out.
Love you, Bill. Okay. Thank you, Gabby.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank
Everybody, stay well, be safe.
And remember,
Wash your hands.
wash your hands, do elbow bumps if you have to meet with people, but really don't even be that close to people, just stay inside. But remember, we do not have evening update tomorrow. We are back on Monday with another incredible lineup of people for you to next week. So stay tuned for that. Put it into your calendars. How you can be helpful to us if you find this valuable is share it with your friends. Invite people to the Facebook group. All you have to do in that top right corner, invite anyone who's a small business owner. This group is to help everyone. That's all we want to do here. So we appreciate you spending your time with us, and we will see you on Monday.
Pleasure. Roland,
All right. Bye, everybody. Bye, Nancy.
Bye-bye. Have fun.
Thank you.